शुक्रिया माया। बहुत ही संक्षिप्त में 1 मिनट में हिंदी वाले लोगों के लिए कि माया ने जिस बात पर जोर दिया वो ये है कि क्योंकि मानवाधिकार संरक्षण अधिनियम में प्रावधान है सेक्शन 12(1) जो भी हिंदी बता रहे थे कि आपको क्योंकि एनएचआरसी की लिमिटेशंस है, इसलिए आपको जो बाकी लोग सिविल सोसाइटी, जन समूह, आंदोलन, जो बाकी लोग काम कर रहे हैं मानवाधिकार के क्षेत्र में, उनको सहयोग देना है। और उसी प्रावधान के चलते जो कोर ग्रुप एनजीओज का होता है उसकी माया सदस्य रही हैं। उन्होंने अपने अनुभव बताए। उन्होंने बताया कि एक तो पहली बात है कि औरतों के मुद्दे पर एनएचआरसी का बहुत ही उदासीन रवैया रहा है, और दूसरा जहां एनएचआरसी नहीं हो सकता है वहां जो क्योंकि बाकी लोग काम कर रहे हैं उनके साथ पार्टनरशिप करने का जो रवैया है वो भी एकदम उदासीन है। और सबसे बड़ी बात उन्होंने बताई कि बजाय सिविल सोसाइटी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, जन समूह, जन संगठनों को एक पार्टनर की तरह ट्रीट करना, मानवाधिकार की रक्षा के लिए उनके ऊपर एक अविश्वास है, एक शक की दृष्टि से देखा जाता है, क्योंकि एक सरकारी तंत्र है जो किसी भी सरकार से बाहर जो ग्रुप है उस पर विश्वास नहीं और शक की तरह से देखा जाता है। अगला पॉइंट उन्होंने बताया कि स्टेट ह्यूमन राइट्स कमीशन, जो कि मुझे लगता है कि इससे ज़्यादा खराब परछाई है राष्ट्रीय मानवाधिकार आयोग की, उनको लिमिटेड जो हेल्प हो सकती है, उनको उनकी कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग करना, उनकी क्षमता बढ़ाना, काम करने की, उनको गाइड करना, वहाँ भी एनएचआरसी आगे नहीं आती है। और इसका एक जो महत्वपूर्ण काम एनएचआरसी का है कि मानवाधिकार के बारे में जो शिक्षा है, ह्यूमन राइट्स एजुकेशन, सैकड़ों हजारों ग्रुप उन्होंने बताया कि देश में काम कर रहे हैं। वो बहुत ही हॉस्टाइल परिस्थितियों में काम कर रहे हैं, बहुत ही उनको शक की दृष्टि से देखा जाता है, विक्टिमाइज किया जाता है, केसेज उनके ऊपर डाले जाते हैं, उनके केस तो नहीं सुनते हैं, वो उनकी मदद तो नहीं होती है, लेकिन उनके प्रति जिस तरह की सहानुभूति होनी चाहिए वो भी राष्ट्रीय मानवाधिकार आयोग की नहीं है। इसी कड़ी में, थैंक यू माया, इसी कड़ी में हमारे साथ आगे बात करेंगी डॉक्टर वी मोहिनी गिरी, जो डीम्ड मेंबर रही हैं। जैसे पहले बताया गया कि जो बाकी और भी इस तरह के आयोग हैं, विमेंस कमीशन है, मिनॉरिटी बाकी हैं, जिनके सदस्य या जिनके चेयर इनके मेंबर्स होते हैं, डीम्ड मेंबर्स, उनके साथ किस तरह का तालमेल है। जब हम स्टेट ह्यूमन राइट्स कमीशन के बारे में बात कर रहे थे अलग अलग राज्यों में, तो एक बड़ा मुद्दा यह आया मैडम कि आपस में तालमेल नहीं है, कोई केस इधर जाए उधर जाए, कहाँ न जाए, इसको लेके एक बहुत बड़ी परेशानी है। तो मोहिनी गिरी जी इस बारे में बात करेंगी। मोहिनी गिरी जी 1979 से चेयरपर्सन है ऑफ द गिल्ड ऑफ सर्विस सिंस 1979, नेशनल कमीशन फॉर वीमेन 1994 और 98 के बीच में उसकी चेयरपर्सन रही हैं, एंड शी हैज़ बीन द चेयर ऑफ द दिल्ली स्टेट सोशल वेलफेयर एडवाइजरी बोर्ड। हमारी ट्रस्टी हैं ह्यूमन राइट्स लॉ नेटवर्क की, और मानवाधिकार के मुद्दों पर और वार विडोज के मुद्दे पर बहुत काम मोहिनी जी का है।
मंच के सामने बैठे मेरे बहुत सारे भाई बहन बड़ी उत्सुकता से देख रहे हैं कि कब हमारा भारत देश इन बंधनों से छूटेगा। आप सबको मेरा अभिनंदन। हमारे my esteemed jury, I have usually sat there, but I have never deposed in front of anyone so far. But it's my privilege today, sir, that and madam, that I am able to depose in front of you. And greetings to all of you, my brothers and my daughters. What has happened? A dream is broken. Governments after governments have come. I myself served as chairperson of the National Commission under 4 different governments. The BJP, the Gujarat government, then the Congress government, and then the previous government, Devgowda. 4 prime ministers came and went, but nothing happened. We gave threats, we gave calls, we requested, we pleaded, but nothing happened. Now I think it's a very opportune time, because the elections are due in another 6 months. Perhaps these recommendations can go there immediately, and because they are now wanting to see that they don't get defeated by those 8 seats like Delhi anywhere else, maybe they will hear us. So I request the People's Tribunal to, as soon as possible, feed it into them and let us see what happens today, because today there is a little hope of their improving their statures of what wrong they have done. I congratulate that this tribunal has met at a very timely time, Thank you very much. I have been requested to depose as a former chairperson of the National Commission for Women, where I was, as you already know, between 94 and 98. Fortunately, the chairpersons at that time were Justice Venkat Challaya and Justice Misra. I was very fortunate. The rapport that we had with the Women's Commission was tremendous, absolutely. And also the times that we met with them was also very, very good. It was a different kind of a time where people wanted change, where people thought human rights was something that has to be observed, but things have changed since then, and it has, my dream, which was at that time at the peak, has really become total darkness. The National Commission for Women, the Scheduled Caste Commission, the Minority Commissions, and the Minority Scheduled Castes and the National Commission for Tribes are also deemed members of the National Human Rights Commission. And deemed members by discharging 9 out of the 10 functions that have to be performed by the NHRC under Section 12 of the PHRA 1993. I therefore had the privilege of serving the NHRC in this capacity under the chairmanship of Justice Ranganath Mishra and Justice Venkat Challaya. The provision of PHRA 1993 providing for deemed members is a unique in the world, and no other NHRI across the globe is in the vantage position of benefiting from the expertise, experience and institutional history and learning of the 4 thematic NHRIs that were in existence prior to the establishment of NHRC. It is therefore my duty now as a member of the civil society, my esteemed jury, in India, continuing to work for the protection and promotion of human rights, from particularly my engagement with women and the elderly. To pinpoint the strengths of such a mechanism, to indicate what used to be the practice, to evaluate what has actually taken place in the past 10 years after my demitting office, the proposed changes that urgently need to be carried on are as such. During my tenure as a deemed member, particularly during the chairmanship of Justice M.N. Venkat Challaya, these meetings used to be held on a regular basis. In between meetings, the chairperson of NHRC, in particular Justice Venkat Challaya, even consulted the Women's Commission telephonically and consult us on all measures that were to be undertaken by the Commission in relation to women's rights, of course. I remember the association, consultation and engagement with NHRC since it contributed greatly to the work that I led with the NCW and brought our work in the NCW within the purview of the definition of human rights under PHRC RA 1993. It is perhaps also required for me to mention with gratitude that I completed my term as a chairperson of the NCW. It was at that time that the NHRC, which gave me a very, very organized and very good farewell at the India International Center, where at least there were 500 people, which is never heard of after that again. That was the kind of rapport that we had with the NHRC. However, I am appalled to see thereafter that between January 1998 and April 2008, that the meetings of the full commission, including the deemed members, has during this 10-year period taken place only on 26 occasions. I mean, the deemed members were not even invited for a full meeting of the commission, which was their job. It has really harmed the togetherness, to know knowledge, to gain knowledge, and all those other things which go by meeting together occasionally. The NHRC has always been, and even now, continues to be a A-grade member of the International Coordination Committee of the NHRI, with its headquarters located at the office of the High Commission for Human Rights in Geneva. It is by virtue of this position that NHRC, as an A-grade member, participated prior to 2006 in the annual meetings of the United Nations Human Rights Commission, and thereafter in almost all meetings of the Human Rights Commissions. The ICC also conducts its periodic annual meetings. In addition to the ICC, the NHRC was also a founding member of the Asia Pacific Forum of National Human Rights Institution with its headquarters in Sydney. The NHRC has chaired the IIC as well as the APF on several occasions, which is a pride, but sadly, so in the past 80 years, the deemed members of the NHRC had never had an opportunity, not even once, to attend business meetings of the ICC or any other human rights organizations in the UN or any other council meetings. Any of the international conferences organized by ICC, any of the 18 annual conferences of the APJ, or benefit from any of the capacity building programs conducted by APF for its constituent members and its staff. Clearly, therefore, the leadership of NHRC has not treated its deemed members with the statutory responsibility to do so. Its command and we, the deemed members, have from this track record only seem to have been treated as second-class ornamental deemed members of the NHRC. Of course, the Women's Commission was second class because it was a Women's Commission even in those days. It is pertinent to mention, therefore, that NHRC, in order to be a member of the ICC and the IPF, has to be a Paris Principles complied. Incidentally, it is 20 years of Paris Principles this year as well. One of the 6 principles contained in the Paris Principle of 1993 is the principle of pluralism, which speaks of pluralism in membership and staff composition and pluralism in consultation and cooperation. This second aspect of pluralism, which includes cooperation, envisages cooperation with NGOs, with intergovernmental bodies, as well as other bodies responsible for promoting and protecting human rights. My speaker, Maya Daruwala, had so nicely explained to you of how all this was amiss in today's day. I'd like to point out to the People's Tribunal that even in the juries we have been a little. There are only 2 women members here, whereas there has to be 5 at least. So perhaps next time you correct that, Henry. The NCM, the NSE and NCST, SPCR and the Central Information Commission, the Commission of Persons with Disabilities and National Commission for Safai Karmacharis also need to be included in the NHRC deemed body. These are not present today, which should be there. The statutes of ICC in force today, accepted on 30th July 2008 and amended thereafter on 21st October 2008 and 24th March 2009, makes way for the thematic national commissions in our country listed above also to become ICC members, subject to the provision of Article 39 of the ICC statute, which stipulates that at a general meeting of the ICC, only one human rights institution per member shall be eligible to be voting member. It further provides that where there are more than one NHRI in a country which qualifies for membership, the country